Good morning, guys. It is Wednesday, October 9th, 2024. This bathrobe business. I got the coffee and I got the news. So I'm going to start with the headline story, and that is about Google and the DOJ. So this isn't new information. I've kind of been commenting on this one for a while. Is that the DOJ is planning a lawsuit against Google for antitrust reasons. So monopolistic practices. This is something that Lena Khan has been pushing for a while. You know, I'm a huge fan of hers. And it seems more and more like it's moving forward. So the main accusation is they monopolized search and built an infrastructure around search in order to keep that as uncompetitive as possible. This is a coalition between Google, Chrome, Android, and YouTube didn't come up with in this article, and it never seems to come up in these articles, and I don't know why. So YouTube is the second most popular search engine on the planet. The first is Google. And if you didn't know, Google owns YouTube. So I don't know how YouTube never comes up with this. I think it skirts it because it's technically not a search engine. It's defined as a video sharing application or a video application. But it is most definitely used heavily for search, so much so that it is the second most popular one used for search. So it does not come up in any of these articles, but I do think that's a powerful factor. Honestly, if I was to be in charge, and I'm not clearly, I would say you really just need to separate YouTube from Google, and the rest can just fall where it may. Because a lot of the talk here is to separate Android from Google and to separate Chrome from Google. You can do that, but I just don't see how those are standalone companies without that infrastructure. Those two, Android and Chrome, are simply tools within the infrastructure, whereas YouTube should clearly be its own standalone business. It has its own revenue streams. It has a completely different market. It competes in an entirely different environment, ideally. So it should be a separate company. None of these articles are talking about breaking off YouTube from Google. And I should be saying Alphabet, but I believe that's the tactic you should be taking. Now, this process is slow going. So the DOJ is making a recommendation that actually won't be in the courts until August of 2025. And that's before Google starts making appeals, which they will, which will probably extend this even further. But it is in the process. And so this is the first time we're seeing movements like this since Microsoft's antitrust stuff that happened in the 1990s. So we're talking almost 30 years since any kind of antitrust cases have been brought against Silicon Valley. So that's good. I think Apple should be next on the chopping block. It's amazing to me how Apple always seems to skirt the law. Apple, like the other day, we did a Instagram ad, and we haven't done an Instagram ad in a long time. It's probably been pre-COVID since the last time I did it. And just in fees to Apple alone, we paid 40%. And I still don't understand why. We weren't purchasing anything new from the App Store. We were just using Instagram's infrastructure to create an advertisement. And Apple took 40%. I shouldn't say took 40%. They added 40% in cost to what the ad was itself. And that's rarely, I have not heard anybody talk about that. I've always heard people talk about the fact that within the App Store, they take a massive cut. I had no idea that they're taking cuts off of transactions post App Store. So that's been new to me. It's amazing to me how Apple keeps skirting that and how they're building an entire financial product with Apple Pay. And nobody's talking about the fact that they're now operating as a bank. So I hope that this is brought against Apple next, but it probably won't be. Okay, let's jump into the next story. So the next story I want to talk about is Treasury yields. So this is in addition to what I talked about last week with Treasury yields. So give me 1 second to share the story. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, you should be seeing that now. So 10-year Treasury yield rebounds back above 4%. So the last time I reported on this, the Treasury yield on the 10-year was still below 4. It had gone up by 0.11%, but it had still been below 4%. Now it is rising above 4. Why this is important is because the 10-year Treasury is the one that influences consumers the most. It's the one that influences mortgages. It's the one that influences car payments. It's the one that most credit cards. So a lot of the consumer debt is powered by the 10-year Treasury. So the fact that it is going up is not good for consumers. Now, it's not the only factor. Oftentimes, interest rates are a complex organism calculated off of the 10-year, calculated off of the prime rate, etc. But the fact that it goes up isn't good for consumers. It means that consumer debt is probably not going to get any ease from the fact that the Fed has cut interest rates on the overnight lending, I'll call it. So there's that. Next story I want to cover is strip malls. So one of the few facets of commercial real estate that is not in the toilet is U.S. strip malls, and this is a fantastic article. Remember, all my stories, the article links are in the description below. I highly recommend you watch this video. The reason being is that this video does a fantastic job. Oh, I didn't share the video. Give me 2 seconds. There we go. So this video does a fantastic job of describing why strip malls are so appealing, and I think it makes a fantastic point. So essentially, as people move out of the cities, which happened heavily during COVID and has continued as a trend, more people are moving into suburbs, more remote work. You don't need shopping centers distributed into one central location as you did before. So due to that, a lot of these strip malls are monopolizing what used to be traditional mall shopping. What's interesting is that it's actually changing trends of major retailers. So, like Macy's is moving into strip malls. Lots of fast-growing new retail stores are moving into strip malls. So, strip malls are also becoming revamped and becoming a little bit more modernized. So they're not as I don't know, ghetto as they used to be. So it's what I also like about this is oftentimes strip malls are where mom and pop operations are functioning. So because we're bringing people into major corporations into strip malls, it's also helping local small businesses. So I think this is great news. And in addition, it's also one of the few saving graces of the commercial real estate market, as major retail, as major commercial developments and business buildings are closing up shop. This is one of the few things that is bolstering it. So if you're looking at it as an investment, this is a fantastic investment right now. Next story I want to share. This one I will just share in passing. So Supermicron shares soar after server company says it's shipping over 100,000 GPU units. So this is mostly for me a story about AI. I think it's a fantastic. I think it's just an interesting story because there seems to be no end in sight to AI rallies. So this is again hardware that is selling, and it is just going like I don't know what a good term is, but it's going fantastically well for AI. So that's just something I'm going to mention in passing. Last story I want to share is this one about manufacturing. So manufacturing jobs now exceed pre-pandemic levels. So this is actually the first time that manufacturing jobs rebounded above their recession highs. So what's also interesting is that this is being led by 5 states, and Utah is included there. So I think that's fantastic news that Utah is leading manufacturing, mainly because I'm in Utah manufacturing myself. So I think this is fantastic news. That's pretty much it. So nothing major. Just keep it short and sweet. I will see you guys back here tomorrow. I hope you have a productive day and productive week. See you later.